can always start something, but it's hard to finish. So I always try to make sure I finish whatever I start, no matter what it is. Try to make sure I finish it, and then the results are gonna come from there. You stick to it long enough, and you finish. You never know. I thought I was gonna go leave my third year of college and be first round pick, which I had that type of talent and all that. It didn't work out that way, but it still worked out. Mm-hmm. And maybe for me, that might have been a better way of working out, because I was always on the edge. I never felt like, oh yeah, I'm the man. Even though I knew I was good, mm-hmm. I never felt like, oh yeah, I'm the man and I can just relax. I always felt like, nah, I gotta keep working. I gotta keep going. I can easily be gone.
Hello, everyone. This is author Tim Brown, the book Uncommon Athletes, and I'm blessed to have me today a truly uncommon athlete, Jeff Cumberland. I'm excited to have this conversation with him, a fellow Columbus Brookhaven High School graduate who worked hard and shows what hard work pays off. Worked his way into the NFL for 8 seasons and is doing well now in life after football. But I want to remind everyone to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button so I continue to broadcast these episodes. So Jeff, well, you had quite a journey as an athlete. You know, how'd you get involved in sports, and who introduced you to sports?
Well, I always played sports. I always played sports out in the street, for real. I used to always go out. It started with basketball. Mm-hmm. I used to always go out. I used to go to the corner store, go get the crates. We used to cut the bottom of them out. Literally every pole, every telephone pole or tree that was close by in the neighborhood, we went and found a backboard, put a backboard up, put the crates up, and we was out there shooting. So I kind of knew how to play before I actually started playing, but I started playing organized sports once I was 9. That was my first year playing football, when I was 9 in the 3rd grade. And then the year after that, I started playing basketball. But yep, I started playing at 9 for Mohawk Raiders. And who got me into that? I want to say just me being a little kid running out there, and then all the coaches seeing me and they seeing me run around, and, you know, they like, hey, you should play football. And I already was doing that out there, literally playing tackle in the street, playing tackle in the grass fields or dirt fields with glass in them. Like, we was doing that early on. So once I got out there, it was fun.
Yeah. When did you realize you were pretty good at sports? When did you realize that?
I'm gonna say like 8th grade. I knew I was good, but you don't really know exactly how good. But obviously, like, I never made the grades to play like for the school. So I always had to play like Little League or AAU or rec league all the way up, of course, into high school. You ain't got no choice. You too old to play rec league and Little League and all that. So, but I'm gonna say once I really, really knew like I was good, I'm gonna say about sophomore, junior year. That's when I knew, like, and it wasn't me telling myself that. It's just the play that I was going against a different type of guys. Football and then basketball. My junior year, I ended up playing with the D1 Greyhounds, which is OJ Mayo and them. That state basketball team, AAU team. Yeah. Even though they was a grade younger than me, but they always played up. Mm-hmm. Yep. So I played with them, and they, as you know, OJ Mayo, he was ranked number 1 in the country. Yeah, he was the man since like the kindergarten or something.
Right. OJ was the man. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, he was like Bron, but he had a bigger name at an earlier age.
Right. So you mentioned something great there about grades. Well, when did you realize that? How did that come up? When did you realize that, hey man, I got to get some grades so I can get on this field? When did that hit you?
Once I got to high school, like once I was in the 8th grade, I ended up getting into some little bit of trouble. Mm-hmm. So my whole 8th grade year, well, not the whole 8th grade year, but 6 months of my 8th grade year and Little League year, well, my whole Little League year, I played football with an ankle monitor on. So I was on house arrest for 6 months. Mm-hmm. So after that, I'm like, I just told myself, like, something got to change. And then obviously, once I got to high school, once I had the coaches, it started with Coach Howard because it was basketball. That's what I went to Brookhaven for. Right. It was basketball. Coach Howard, he was there, and he gave these grade sheets, and he made sure every week we go and we check and see what we got. So from there on, I always knew what my grades looked like. I always knew what I needed to do. I always needed to know what I needed to work on, what homework wasn't turned in, which I made sure. if you ain't good at tests, you better make sure that homework done, all of it. So I always made sure that the homework was done and all that different stuff. But once I was a freshman in high school and the coaches, they started guiding me and you know, coming to my classes, checking on me. That's what changed it.
Wow. That's a great story. Great testimony of that coaches, the influence of coaches, or just men in your life surrounding you, and teachers, you know, to care about you and whatnot. And I know with Coach Howard.
Oh, yeah, definitely just that father figure.
Yeah, you know, I know with Coach, it was more than basketball. I know it was more than just basketball for him. You know, he really cared about
for
that.
Sure.
So you came to Brookhaven to play basketball. So how did you get involved in football? How Thornton and Coach Wright get you in that football field?
Like I said, I've been playing football since I was 9 years old in the third grade. And once again, I said in middle school, I never had the grades to play. So going into your freshman year, it goes on what you did your last semester of your 8th grade year. Like I said, I didn't have the grades, so I couldn't play. So once basketball season came that first semester, I was able to get my grades up and I was able to play. So it's not like one person got me out there on the field. I used to go to the games and I used to be mad, like, man, I'm supposed to be out there. Yeah. So I always told I already knew that's what I was supposed to be doing. I was supposed to be out there. I was on the verge of changing my life. That's what it was. Too many people didn't know. That's all. In middle school, I was doing this, I was doing that, I was this. You know, they don't know that. And in high school, I was on the verge of changing my life, literally.
Yeah, that's the word there, and I'm glad you shared that so young guys can know that it ain't over. You know that
definitely not over.
Yeah, you got a plan.
And I used to hear stuff. I used to hear stuff all the time. But sometimes that used to motivate me.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing I can say. Like, constructive criticism, I was never the type to get mad or look at somebody the type of way like, oh, they said this about me. Or I always looked at it like, you know what? It might be something that they telling the truth about, that I need to step my game up, or I need to change this or change this. Like I always been open-minded like that. A lot of people, they close-minded. So when people are trying to talk to them, you rather have them type of people around you than somebody that's going to let you keep doing it and let you keep doing it and let you keep doing it. Now, and I want the dude that's going to be telling me, nah, you don't do that. That's not what we do. We don't, you know, rather than, yeah, go ahead and you know, they know that's not right for you. You know?
Right.
I mean, and there was a couple guys like Dominic Jones. He was one of the main guys. He used to always come because he played basketball too. He used to tell me, man, you could be a cold DN for us. I'm telling you, you'd be nice. And I'm telling him, like, I already know I'll be nice. I'll play football. I just ain't played this year. I didn't play against you my whole little league career. You already know.
Yeah, you already know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you already know. So it sounds like that was a great. And you ended up playing. So you played football, and then you ran track. How many years did you run track?
I only ran track my senior year.
Yeah,
just my senior year.
Now tell me how you did in track. I already know, but let everybody know. You know.
I should have ran track more. I mean, I ran the open 100. I ran the open 2. And then I ran 4x1, I ran 4x2. They used to always, when I first came, they used to always try to get me to run a 4. Obviously, I'm tall, I got long legs.
Right.
I'm always looking at it as I'm a fast guy. Running around the whole track, I mean, I might have been good, but I'm like, nah, and I stick to the strictly speed thing. Right. But it didn't end up turning out good. My fastest time in the 100 was a 10.6. I ended up winning a city. I won a district in an open one. And then like during the districts, I had messed my hamstring up. So I stopped running individual relays and I just did the 4x1, 4x2, and I was the anchor.
Right. Yeah. And from there you went to University of Illinois. Talk about that recruiting process. Talk about that recruiting process and how you ended up at the University of Illinois.
It was a little different for me. Obviously, the previous year before, we had 3 guys that went to the University of Minnesota. And, you know, they was my guys. I still talk to them during that time. Me and Alex Daniels, we played little league football together. So we already had the connection. We already knew each other. We used to go to each other's house, you know, stay the night over each other's house and all that different type of stuff. But for me to go to Illinois, to be honest, I really I didn't know too much. Coach Anthony Thornton, he helped guide the way, because everywhere I went, they was trying to make me commit. Like right then and there. As soon as I step in the door, they trying to make me commit.
Right,
And
right.
he made sure he went with me to take
Mm-hmm.
the pressure off. Like, nah, I'm gonna go with you. I know they're gonna try to pressure you. And that's exactly what they was doing. And then it just came to a point where it's like, I wasn't going to Ohio State, so I wanted to play against Ohio State. I know Illinois was in the Big Ten,
Mm-hmm.
so that was my perfect opportunity. You play the best.
Mm-hmm.
You see all the guys going to the NFL from 18. You see them winning championships.
Right.
You from Ohio, so you know about Ohio. Ohio State football is like Alabama football somewhere else. Like,
Right.
That's how Ohio State football is. So I just chose and stuck and went with Illinois.
Mm-hmm. How was that experience for you when you look back on it? That was that experience?
The whole college experience, it was a great experience. I mean, of course, I had my ups and downs. I almost got kicked out of school at one point, as far as for my grades. My grades was going down, but then the next semester, I got it back up to like a 3.5 GPA, and then from there, I never looked back. But on the field, it was ups and downs. Obviously, I was so big and fast, so they didn't really know how to use me. I got like a tight end body,
Mm-hmm.
but I was faster than all the receivers on the team. So
right. Yeah. So what are some of those life lessons you learned in college?
just make sure, just stick it in there. Like, that's the one thing I've just in general that I know. Like, it's hard to finish things. Like, you can always start something, but it's hard to finish. So I always try to make sure I finish whatever I start, no matter what it is. Try to make sure I finish it, and then the results are gonna come from there. You stick to it long enough, and you finish. You never know. I thought I was gonna go leave my third year of college and be first round pick, which I had that type of talent and all that. It didn't work out that way, but it still worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe for me, that might have been a better way of working out, because I was always on the edge. I never felt like, oh yeah, I'm the man. Even though I knew I was good,
Mm-hmm.
I never felt like, oh yeah, I'm the man and I can just relax. I always felt like, nah, I gotta keep working. I gotta keep going. I can easily be gone.
Yeah, I think that's what and I think a lot of that comes from, as we look back on our upbringing, where we grew up at. We realize that, hey, I gotta, I'm here now and I'm not going back. I'm gonna do whatever it takes, to stick around. And so,
Well, definitely, I definitely wasn't coming back home. It wasn't nothing but trouble at home. So
right.
definitely not coming back home. Whatever I gotta do to make sure I get on my stuff, I make sure I did it. And obviously, like I had some help. In college, they got tutors, and they got people who work with the football office just specifically to help you out. So I definitely had some good help, but I think during that time I put more into it than I ever did, even from high school, middle school. I make sure I put more into it.
Yeah, and I think life is a process. It's a process.
Right.
We mature.
You get older and you learn.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to be that guy. I see a whole bunch of guys all the time. They go to college for a year or two, and then they back home. And once they back home, they ain't doing nothing, or they end up getting caught up in the streets and they in jail, or they dead or something. Like, I done seen it many times. Still to this day, I still see.
So what keeps you so focused? I mean, what was that thing inside of you that said, no, I'm not going to be that guy?
More so about my upbringing and where I come from. Like, even today, like, I'm back in Ohio. I live in Pickerington. But I still go back, and my family is out there, so I still go back to the neighborhood and ride around, and I might chill for a little bit, but not for too long, because once I'm sitting for too long, and I start to realize, like, this is what you've been trying to get away from.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I still go back just to remind me, like, hey, you can easily go back here if you don't stay on your stuff. You can easily be right back here, and then once you right back in certain situations, anything can happen, because you basically a product of your environment.
Right. Yeah, and it's okay. It's okay to go back, but at the same time realize there's more out there, and you've been that example as well. Being that example to others.
Right, and let them know, like, you can still see me. You might not see me all the time, but you can still see me. I ain't somebody who made it, and you don't never see me. You might hear about me or see me on social media or something. Nah, you can actually see me, and you can see me around dealing with the kids, training the kids,
right,
coaching the kids up. You can actually see me and feel me.
No, that's good stuff. You went undrafted and you end up signing as a free agent with the New York Jets. Now that New York market is something different, you know. Can you speak to that New York market? You know, people talk about, you know, playing in New York, being in that area. Can you talk about that area and how it was playing in New York? You were there for 6 years.
Yeah, I love New York. Now, when I first got there, probably about like the first 7, 8 months, I used to tell everybody, man, it's overrated. New York is overrated. But obviously I was young. I didn't step a foot on the field. Everything there cost a lot. I didn't have no money. So I couldn't do too much. So I'm sitting in a hotel or, you know, whatever. We playing our games with the rookies and all that.
Right.
But once the actual money started coming in and I can kind of tour around New York. And then once I started playing and then scoring touchdowns and doing all that, it just made it complete different. Then I didn't even need no money. Then I can just go anywhere and have a good time. I didn't need no money.
Right. And now you tore your Achilles tendon during your second year. Well, what helped you get through that injury and get back on the field?
To be honest, I knew it was, for one, I knew it was early. And for two, I dealt with injuries before. So I kind of already knew what to expect a little bit as far as healing process and all that. Because in college, I had a plate, a screw. So I got a plate and screw on my right foot, and then I got a screw on my left foot. That's all from college. So I didn't been under the scope and getting my surgery and getting my anesthesia and waking up, and I'm totally, you know. So I went through that part in that phase. But once I tore my Achilles, I was right. I wasn't. I didn't have my degree yet, my college degree. You know, I had all the credits and all the classes, but I had an internship that I still needed to do. So I was with the Jets and I was rehabbing, and I also was upstairs doing my internship. So that kind of helped me. So I'm coming in, I'm doing my rehab, getting in my little 3-piece suit or my dress clothes. I'm going upstairs and I'm working for every. So I was there probably 10 weeks, and each week I would stay like with a different group. So one week it'd be accounting, one week it'd be tickets, another week it'd be public relations. So I seen like all the stuff up there. And don't get me wrong, it was cool, but I'm like, oh no, I definitely can't be doing this when I'm done. I need to get back on the field.
Take the suit off.
And that's what it was. But I was always able to heal fast from my injuries. That's one thing. Like I always kind of been like a freak of nature with that. Like even my first year with my Achilles, we had 5 guys that tore their Achilles within the same two weeks. I was healed up way before all of them. Like I was off my crutches probably a month before them. I was always determined to get back. I didn't get to show enough, and I always felt like shit, I'm about to get cut.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it is just one phone call away. You know, one knock on the door away. You know.
Definitely. And that's the worst part about, if you weren't available, that's worse than you being out there and, you know.
Right. That's one thing guys have to realize. The best availability is being available. You know?
Definitely. I don't care how good you is, if you can't play and you're unavailable, it don't matter to them.
Right. It's a business, man.
It's always about what you did right now, what you doing right now, not what you done for me, what you doing for us right now. How can you help us right now? Not next year. How can you help us right now?
Right. That leg is. Yeah, and that's why, you were able to carve out a great 8-year career. You know, most of the NFL careers are 3 to 5 years at the most, you know.
For sure. Less than that, for real. But the average is 3.5. You don't even get your pension or none of that until you at least did 3.5 years.
Yeah. So as we talk about this, what would you say to a young inner city kid trying to make it to that level? You know, what advice would you give them?
I would say stay positive, listen to your coaches and your peers that's around you, that's pushing you to do positive things. Like you might not always agree with them, and you might not always believe them, but just know when they speaking to you and they trying to push you forward and they trying to get the best out of you. And no matter what you've been through in life, you can still change it. You can still change your life, change your ways, and you never know how long you can live or how far you can make it.
Yeah, I love
Just
that.
believe in yourself.
Yeah, I love what you say. You gotta stay positive, you know. Hey, I understand you're coaching high school football now. You know, can you tell us how that came about? You know, you ended up coaching high school football and kind of giving back.
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing the coaching for a long time. I mean, people ask me when I was playing, would I be a coach? And I used to tell them like, yeah, I coach, but I wouldn't be a head coach, and I wouldn't coach college, or I wouldn't coach the NFL and things of that nature. But I mean, the coaching is been pretty amazing for me, just to get talk to the players and get that feedback, and they actually come to me and asking me questions and different things, and not just on sports. Like they really talk to me.
So what are some of those life lessons that you're trying to impact on these guys as you're coaching, both on and off the field?
Just stay positive and just know you can have a plan. It's a lot of people with plans. Those plans don't normally go exactly how you want it to go. It's always going to be a bump in the road, but just know just because you got a detour, it's always another way to get there. It's always another way. Just be positive enough, and you and stick to your guns, and keep doing what you're doing. Keep going hard. Keep fighting at school. Not literally fighting, but fighting to have good grades. Be a leader. Be that person that's, you know, if you see some stuff going on, you know, sometimes you say something, or you know, being more of a leader. And for the ones because not everybody's leaders. For the ones who are not leaders, knowing when to follow and who to follow. Because the ones who's not leaders, sometimes they follow anybody that they think is got popularity, especially during high school and middle school. They going with people who got popularity because they don't got much. Even if their parents got money, they don't got no money.
Right.
So they tend to follow crowds off their popularity. And a lot of kids don't know how to follow or who to follow. They just know they follow them.
Wow. Man, I really appreciate this real talk. You know, this has been real talk, you know.
Oh, yeah. You got to stay positive and be happy for the things you do have. And if you want more, you're going to have to go get it. But it's more important to have everything you need than have mostly of what you want.
Right. Well, you on here preaching now. You on here, you know, and I love what you said about that contentment, you know, just being content with what you have, you know, and recognize that all your needs are being provided. But I want to thank you, man. I'm so proud of you, man, and the man you become, and your life experience is really, I think God takes us through some things, not for us, but for somebody else, you know, that you have really encouraged, you really have encouraged somebody else. Yeah, we go through it.
For us too.
And that way we can share with somebody else, you know. We can tell them, like you're saying, the positiveness that I've been, because you can really tell a guy, well, I've been through what you've been through. I walked in your shoes. I ain't making this up, you know. I mean, I lived it. I lived this life. And your key word is just staying positive, you know, just staying positive. And just, you know, because you know that day is going to come when that opportunity came. I know when that opportunity came for you to get on that football field, you know, in 10th grade, it wasn't no looking back, you know. It wasn't no looking back, you know.
Oh, yeah, it definitely wasn't no looking back.
Yeah, it's true. A blessing and waiting on that.
I appreciate you for the interview and having this talk. You know, we go all the way back to Brookhaven. You know, I was always in the back, shy kid. I always had a lot to say, but I'm the guy. I'm gonna say less. You got 2 ears to listen twice as much as you talk. That's how I put it. That's how I am.
Right.
But when I do talk,
it's
gonna be, you're gonna hear what I'm saying.
Right.
Not just listen. You're gonna hear it.
You're gonna hear it. Right. All right, Jeff. Well, I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna have to come out and watch a game, watch you guys on the side. Now, you up in the booth or you down on the field? Where it got you at?
I'm on the field. See, I got to connect with the players. I can't be too far up there. And like I said, I got to connect with the players. When they coming off the field and they might have threw a pick or something ain't going right. I ain't the coach that's going, hey, get it. Hey, you got the next one. Let it go. Like I'm
Right. No, that's good. That's good.
So they need that.
Right. You that guy. All right, Bob. Thank you for your time, man. It's been great. Yeah, it's been really good.
All right.
We'll touch.
Appreciate you. Talk to you soon.